All right, now to go further on this, let me dwell a little some more on the whole issue about slavery. There is an argument by people who belong to the gay community that homosexuality, lesbianism, whatever you call them, are not addictions by themselves. They do not think they are enslaved. Let me say this, it might help you. Now, very often as young people, we engage in actions that bring us some temporary rewards, and yet these rewards, these activities come with negative consequences that carry lasting effects. Now, we are not able to stop them even if we want to. How else do you describe or explain slavery? For me, this is a worse dimension and version of slavery, because often, even when we do not feel enslaved because we think or we argue that it's a free choice that we made, there are certain factors that establish slavery, that define slavery, and I want you to look at some of them. Number one, slavery is established, when you are trapped as the servant and property of another person or thing, such that your labor, your body, and your life are subject to your owner's choice and control. So there are 5 factors that establish slavery. Number 1, servitude. Number 2, property. Number 3, labor. Number 4, body. And number 5, life. When you are trapped as a servant, a slave, when you are trapped, as it were, the property of another person or thing, such that your labor, everything you do, your body and your entire life are subject to that owner's choice, that owner's whims, that owner's caprices, that owner's control, you are a slave. Slaves, some of the features of slavery is that the slave is not at liberty to leave their masters at will without a fight. And even with a fight, they still lose the battle, because at the end of the day, how do you fight somebody that is more sophisticated than you? And for me, the argument is, if you really are not enslaved, then stand up and stop that lifestyle right now and maintain that, for the next 21 days, if possible, without a fight. Stop it and don't do it for another 21 days and be you. That's the only proof that you are not into slavery of some sort. So when you allow yourself to be a slave of any kind to anything, the very purpose of creation and redemption is defeated, because you were never created at all to be enslaved to anything, to be enslaved by anything or by any person. No, you are a creature of dominion. You are created to dominate. The truth is, none of us carrying the image and likeness of God have a right to allow ourselves to be enslaved by anything. Because at the end of the day, you provoke the jealousy of the Creator. How will God create you and you're enslaved to something else? No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So if you will reach full potential, first and foremost, never let yourself be enslaved by anything, including but not limited to addictions and negative sexual orientations. And the truth is that it's possible to be enslaved by so many things. Some people are enslaved by anger, by bitterness, by gossip, by jealousy. These things control you and you can't hold back from acting in those states. Some people are controlled and enslaved by lust, by greed, by selfishness, by food, by sex and sexual orientation. Some people are enslaved by a tendency to shop even when they don't have to buy nothing. And slaves of clothing, slaves of masturbation. Some people are enslaved by the internet, by gadgets, by phones, by chocolate, by party. They must party. If they don't party, then they can't be normal. Some people are slaves of drugs and cigarette and pornography and gambling, homosexuality, lesbianism, all kinds of things. And as I say this, something goes through my mind, because there is an ongoing debate about whether anything could be wrong with some of these things. Listen, many things, even food, will not be wrong until it is abused. Even water will not be wrong until it is abused. So there is the argument as to whether, is anything even wrong with masturbation, for example? Now, most of these arguments are sponsored by those people who want to make certain addictive lifestyles to become the new normal. They can make you develop a false sense of comfort in discomfort. When people are just looking for people to come and fan, to come and celebrate their misery and their wretchedness. And so they try to propound theories and deceive other people into it. What they are trying to do is to eliminate the accompanied guilt that comes with these activities and lifestyles. They come to manipulate you. They come to eliminate that guilt through manipulation. But the Holy Book tells about consciences that are seared with hot iron, consciences that have become so deadened that they are no longer sensitive to the corrective intuition that is within the human spirit in the form of a conscience. But for me, one thing is very worrisome, however, a very worrisome constant is that whenever I chat with or counsel with people who masturbate, who do pornography, who get themselves involved in all of these vices, when they try to describe their emotions, how they feel after each act, let me tell you some of the kind of responses I get from them. They say the affliction is too much. They say, I feel angry with myself. I feel depressed. Some say I feel frustrated. Others say it feels like I'm carrying a load. Someone said, I'm always struggling to pick up myself again after the act. Another person said, different areas of my life are affected. I spoke with somebody who says it feels like living with an obstacle every day. I spoke with some other person who said, I'm just tired. I'm really tired. Someone said, I just want to be free. Another one says, it's really affecting me spiritually and physically. One other person said, I've got no appetite to pray due to a feeling of guilt. Ladies and gentlemen, the list goes on and on and on, and it reveals that the volume of misery and torture of mind that people who are addicted to this lifestyle, the misery and torture of mind they live with on a daily basis, can only be imagined. Simply put, whatever you indulge in that gives you temporary pleasure and yet takes away your peace of mind cannot be right. You can only suppress the guilt for a while, but give it time, it will overwhelm you. Stay with me and let's get rid of every form of slavery, no matter how hidden, no matter how camouflaged, whatever stifles, whatever ties you, whatever hinders, whatever emasculates and reduces you to anything less than you were designed to be must come to an end. Stay with me and I'll be right back.